Hey everyone, this is Prince from Desi Programmer. Welcome back to another exciting Flutter tutorial. And I call this exciting because in this video we are going to talk about many properties of Scaffold. Now I got rid of entire code that we had about app bar. Now it just has some simple title text. So I don't think that this is going to be confusing. But now let's talk about Scaffold. Well, Scaffold again has many properties that we can talk about, like a background color, which will change the background, a body, which is again a widget, bottom navigation bar, bottom seat, which will give some bottom area. We have drawer start behavior, end drawer, which will come from that particular side, extend body, floating accent button, and persistent footer buttons, primary, resize to avoid bottom padding, instant, and so on. Some of these properties are pretty easy to understand, like background color, body, bottom navigation bar that will implement a bottom navigation bar, bottom seat that will give us a persistent bottom seat which you can display. Let's talk about this property. What it says is that here I will give you a widget which will retain here no matter what's happening with this body. So let's say I'm saying that this bottom seat is going to be a simple text widget which says this is from Desi Programmer. Let's save this, and this is how it displays. Again, we can give this either a container so that we can have some styling, we can have some centering and so on, but let's skip that part right now. Next, we have a floating accent button and another important property, because this floating accent button is a widget. So let's say it's an icon button which has on pressed property, which is nothing as of now, but it has a icon which will be, let's say, icon, and from icon I have icons dot, let's say, message. Let's save this. This is how it appears right here. You can see that we have this message and we can give its own decoration, styling, color. Let's say I'm saying the color is colors dot green. Let's save it and see. Now this is green in color. We should have a background color too. Do we have it? We have a splash color. So let's say the splash color is colors dot red. I know it will look pretty ugly, but see, that's how it is. So this is a simple floating accent button that we implement. Now important part is that this floating accent button, which is an icon button, is by default placed here, but we can place it at different positions too. So we call it floating accent button location, which is a floating action button location, and with this has many options. So first of all, let me first tell you about this docked and float. Docked means it will just stick itself, whereas float means it will be floating, like it will get enough area above the center. So that's how it is here. When I click this, you see that it gets enough area, while as in the docked you will see that the button appears to be merging with the bottom. That's how it appears, and by default it is at this position, which is end docked. If I save this, this is okay, sorry, it's not at end docked, it's at end float. But we can again give its many, we can give it many other properties, like we can keep it at the top, we can keep it at the center floating, and so on. So well, this is all up to us how we use them. This is the floating accent button location, and this is simple floating accent button. Let me comment them out so that we can talk more about different properties and what actually they are. Let's see. So bottom seat was simple, and this drawer is not something that we're going to talk about in this video, because this drawer will actually be called, or to be honest, most of the time this drawer is called with this leading icon button, which is in the app bar itself. And again, it takes a lot of code, a lot of explanation to show you how this is going to work. So not in this video, it will be in some practical video, but in this video I'm going to make sure that I implement a bottom navigation. So let's get to that. How we do that? So I'm saying that we have a bottom navigation bar, and this should be a bottom app bar. Not actually should be, this is how we implement it because it's good and okay to implement. Now I'm saying that it has a child, and the child is going to be a row. Let's save it and let's see what happens. So you don't see anything as of now because it doesn't have any children. So let's say my row has a children, and those children are going to be visit. Now we have some different problems right here. First problem is that I want to make sure that whatever my button is, it should take up the entire space provided to it. The second problem is that if we use expanded, it will just expand itself. You can't see. Let me show what happens if I'm using an expanded. And let's say I'm saying that my expanded has a child, and that child is, let's say, even a single text. Then if I pass some string, let's save it, and you see this is how it appears right now. And if we give it something else, it just keeps increasing, and there is no option of giving any height to my row or to anything. So what do? Actually, we use here a sized box. We use multiple sized box, and every time we use a complete, like here we are going to show something, and that will be in a sized box, so that our sized box can have some fixed height. So I'm saying that my child is a sized box, and come on, sized sized box, and this sized box will have some height. I'm saying that the height is going to be fixed to 16.0, and then I'm saying that it will have a child. The child could be anything. I'm saying that it's an inkwell, so that we can have a on tap property, which is right here. And then the inkwell will have another its own child, and let me say that we have a child, and this child is going to be a column where the main axis alignment will be at center, because I want both of my elements to be at center. And you'll be wondering which both element. I know I have not given them. So here we have a children, and this children will have two things, and those two things are going to be an icon, not an icon button, remember, because we already have an inkwell. So I'm saying that we have an icon which is going to be icons dot search, and then after my icon I'm saying that we are going to have a text which is going to be, let's say, search. Let's save it, and this is how it appears. This is an inkwell which actually expand itself completely, and you will see the magic. And by the way, you can again give some styling to the text, that's all up to you, but you will see the magic if I just copy this entire expanded. And I know I'm copying this, I can create a widget which I can just simply name the widget right here, and that widget will return expanded and so on. But I'm just trying to show you what we can come up with this. So if I save this right now, you see that hey, we have three buttons taking equal spaces, and this is like a bottom navigation. I call this a bottom navigation because see, it calls a function that can do almost anything that we want with a navigation. Like it can switch to new screens, it can do many other things. And this bottom app bar widget has its own multiple properties which you can work with, but that's again up to you if you want to work with them. If you ever have to work with them practically, you can spend some time in the documentation, because I don't think that it will be hard now after learning these many things. But still, if it is, I'm always here to help. You can message me on Instagram, and my Instagram ID is something that's mentioned in the description right here. And I think that we have come up with pretty well learning about scaffold in this video. We have at least learned how to implement a bottom navigation bar, which is looking pretty amazing. Again, you can come up with your own styling, own sizes and all, that's all up to you. But to be honest, that's pretty much it in this video about scaffold. I will be creating another video where we'll be talking about drawer and tab navigation, or maybe that I can come with another video where we'll be creating something like a clone or any other simple application, a practical application where we might be implementing these properties. Till then, I would like to say two things. The first one is that this was my way of implementing a simple bottom navigation bar. I quote it again, my way of implementing a simple bottom navigation bar. You can have some other ways where you can, implement some fancy bottom navigation bar, or some other ways where you can, like, see, if you can just give them elevation of 10.0, and see now it have some different look. You can give some shape, it will get some different look. So you can keep experimenting and keep creating. So if you think that this is very basic, I know it's very basic, but that's how you get started. And to be honest, getting started is everything that matters, because then you can easily move up. And the second thing is that if you love this series, do let me know that you want more videos related to them. I'll make sure that I keep posting them. Until then, keep loving, keep coding, keep sharing, and peace.